Imagine sitting in first class, enjoying your flight when suddenly a pilot slaps you across the face. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that the woman he just humiliated is actually a silent billionaire, the secret backer of the very airline he's working for? Well, that's exactly what happened.
Stay tuned to find out how one slap turned into a career-ending mistake and how this woman changed the entire airline industry with one powerful move. If you're part of the Black Visionaries family, hit that like button right now and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one. You won't believe the twist at the end. This is a story you don't want to miss. It was a crisp morning, and the first-class cabin of the luxury airline buzzed with excitement. Passengers settled into their plush seats, some clinking glasses of champagne, while others read the day's paper as the plane soared into the clear blue sky. Among them was a young woman, dressed casually yet elegantly in a simple light blue dress. She blended in with the other affluent passengers, but there was something distinctly different about her. Her name was Simone, and although she carried herself with quiet grace, she was far from ordinary. Simone had been an observant passenger, scrolling through her phone and sipping her drink, when suddenly the door to the cockpit swung open. Enter Captain Thompson, an overly confident and arrogant pilot with a well-known reputation. His sharp uniform and purposeful stride filled the cabin with a sense of authority. Yet today, there was something unusual in his demeanor, an unsettling urgency that he couldn't mask. As he made his rounds through the cabin, his eyes landed on Simone. Something about her presence seemed to irk him. He was determined to make his mark, and little did Simone know this encounter would set off a chain of events that would change her life forever. Captain Thompson had long been known for his arrogance, often using his high rank to assert dominance over others, and today, that trait was on full display. As he walked toward Simone, something about her quiet confidence seemed to irk him. It was as if her calm presence, so unbothered by the luxury around her, was challenging his authority. "You don't belong here," Captain Thompson spat, his voice sharp and filled with disdain. The words pierced through the air, causing the surrounding passengers to glance nervously toward the scene unfolding. Simone, caught off guard but determined to stay composed, replied, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" "You heard me," he sneered, leaning in close, his breath hot with contempt. "This seat is reserved for people with proper status. I don't think you're one of them." Then, without warning, Captain Thompson slapped her across the face. The entire cabin fell into a stunned silence. Passengers watched in disbelief as Simone, unshaken, calmly touched her cheek, making eye contact with the pilot. The unexpected lack of reaction from her left him visibly unsettled. What Captain Thompson didn't know, and what no one in the cabin knew, was that Simone was far from just a regular first-class passenger. Beneath her calm, unassuming demeanor was a woman who had the power to change the very future of the airline. Simone wasn't just wealthy, she was a billionaire, one of the largest silent investors in the airline. For years, her financial backing had fueled its operations, and her influence was far-reaching within the company. Simone had chosen to travel under a pseudonym, deliberately concealing her identity. She had no desire for the constant spotlight that accompanied her wealth. Her goal was simple: to enjoy the luxury she could afford without the constant judgments or assumptions that came with being recognized. She craved normalcy and privacy, choosing to live as any other passenger would, unnoticed and without preferential treatment. But today was different. The slap had triggered something inside Simone. As she sat, absorbing the sting, she knew it was time to reveal who she truly was. She calmly called the flight attendant over, asking for Captain Thompson to be brought to her. Words spread quickly, and the passengers began to murmur. Something extraordinary was about to unfold. Captain Thompson, still brimming with his misplaced arrogance, strutted toward Simone's seat, fully expecting her to back down, apologize, or shrink under his authority. He smirked as he approached, thinking he had already won, convinced that the slap he delivered would go unnoticed. But as he reached Simone's seat, he was met with an unexpected turn of events. Simone stood up slowly, her posture dignified, and her voice unwavering as she addressed the entire cabin. "Captain Thompson," she began, her gaze never leaving his, "I've been silently backing this airline for years." Her words hit like a thunderclap in the room. "The very seats you're sitting in, the flight you're on, is funded in part by my company. A stunned silence followed as the passengers exchanged shocked looks. Simone's words were clear and sharp as she continued, "You slapped me. And not only that, you've now disrespected everything I stand for. I will not tolerate this kind of behavior." Captain Thompson's face turned pale. The realization hit him hard. The woman he had humiliated was a billionaire, someone with the power to ruin his career with a single call. Simone's voice remained calm but firm as she said, "I will be filing a formal complaint, and I expect an immediate apology. But more importantly, I expect your removal from this flight." The weight of her words settled over him, and the room filled with an uncomfortable tension. Within minutes, Captain Thompson was escorted off the plane by security, his face pale and filled with embarrassment. The airline's executives were already scrambling to address the situation, their phones ringing off the hook as they worked to contain the damage. The entire cabin was still in stunned silence, with passengers exchanging whispers, trying to make sense of what had just unfolded before their eyes. Simone, however, remained calm and composed as if nothing extraordinary had happened. She simply sat back down in her seat, her demeanor serene and unwavering. It wasn't just her dignity she had protected, it was the message she had sent. In that one powerful moment, she had demonstrated that money, power, and arrogance didn't grant anyone immunity from accountability. True respect had to be earned, and no one was above reproach, no matter how high their status. As the story spread like wildfire, news outlets quickly picked up on the incident. The airline was forced into a public apology, implementing immediate changes to its staff policies. Captain Thompson's career, however, was over. Simone's actions had made him the symbol of unchecked arrogance, a cautionary tale for others in positions of power. Simone, who had quietly funded the airline's success for years, had become something far greater than just a passenger. She had shown the world that even the most powerful could fall when they forgot the basic principle of respect. From that day forward, the airline and the world would never forget the name of the woman who, with a single act, toppled an empire of arrogance. If you're part of the Black Visionaries family, hit that like button right now and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay tuned for more unbelievable moments that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.